Welcome to our May 2020 accounting news. In this accounting news, we have four key sections. First of all, a section on COVID-19. Secondly, a section on IFRS 16 leases. Thirdly, a section for not-for-profit entities. And finally, a section on international developments. In our first section around COVID-19, we particularly look at accounting for rent concessions, COVID-19 related rent concessions, and we provide an update on the recent decision by the International Accounting Standards Board to provide a practical expedient to lessees. We also look at accounting for JobKeeper payments, and we look at it from a for-profit and a not-for-profit angle. In the third article, we look at the extension of the reporting deadline by 1 month for 30 June 2020 year ends. And then finally, we look at the impact of COVID-19 on impairment testing and provisions. In our second section, where we look at leases, we have a very practical article looking at moving from the old standard to the new standard, and in particular using the two retrospective or modified retrospective methods. So what do you do with those old lease accruals, lease prepayments, and leasehold improvements? And in the other article, we provide an update on how impairment models should be adjusted because cash generating units now also include right-of-use assets. When we move on to the not-for-profit section, we look at the four focus areas for not-for-profits for 30 June 2020. And we also have an article explaining the government stimulus that could be available to not-for-profit entities. In our final section, we look at the extension of the amendments to IAS 1, and the focus there was around current, non-current liabilities. I would like to invite you to join us for any of our IFRS 16 masterclasses. We're running a series of masterclasses on AASB 16 leases, and we're also running a series of masterclasses around the impact of COVID-19 on 30 June 2020 financial statements. These masterclasses are virtual masterclasses. They run for 4.5 hours. They have practical case studies, and you've got the IFRS partners at BDO presenting these sessions. And then finally, now that we're all working from home, I think we all focus on the background. So I thought I'll pick as a background today my favorite painting by my favorite artist, my favorite artist, Porchy. Now he's an artist, a fairly young artist in Stellenbosch, South Africa. And behind me, I've got my favorite painting. It reminds me of Africa. It's a lot of color. You know I love color, and I think there's a lot of joy in this painting. I hope you enjoy reading our newsletter and watching all our videos, and hope to speak to you soon.